Little bit. How old are you?
35.
And what is a woman?
A person whose schema and gender aligns with the female sex.
Do I
That
need
mean?
to file?
That doesn't define
Does
what a
it?
woman.
Well, hold on. First of all, does anyone else want to take it? Does anyone else want a chance to debate?
I can.
That go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead, Virgo.
Go ahead.
Yeah, what would that schema entail?
What would their specific schema entail?
No, what would the schema entail? Because if you say that a woman is anyone who aligns with their personal schema of that aligns with female, that means that that would apply to every single individual that identifies as a woman. So what would that schema entail?
You would have to ask the individual. Are you asking me? Because my schema aligns with the female sex. My schema
Yeah.
on gender.
Yeah, not you specifically, right? Because I myself am a woman. So whatever you
Me too.
yeah, so whatever you deem to be a woman would also have to apply to me and every other woman around the world. So what would that
That's
schema?
not true because if one woman says that she experiences womanhood in a certain way, that's not true for every woman.
Yeah, so
There's
we're not talking
similar
about
answers, but
we're
they're
not
not
talking
all
about
the same.
womanhood. We're not talking about womanhood. I'm talking about what it is to be a woman. So your personal experience is not admissible in this conversation.
My personal experience is not admissible in this conversation, even though I'm a woman. So
You're,
neither is yours.
I would disagree that you're a woman because what I'm asking you is to explain what
Right.
that
So, but who
representation would
makes
be
the
as a woman.
definitions on that?
I'm sorry.
Who makes the definitions on that?
Usually definitions are agreed upon with things that can be proven because definitions should always be true, correct?
No, definitions just describe what we're talking about. Like definitions are descriptive, not prescriptive, right?
So if I give you a word and I define the word, you should be able to see with your eyes what I'm describing, correct? With my
That's not
definition.
true. That's not always true. No.
Okay, so if I define a dog, but it's you're looking at a cat.
In this specific case, yes. In this
wrong.
specific case, yes, but not in every case. Right? Because if I'm like I'm looking at a cute bag, like, that's a definition. It's a cute bag.
No, that
Other
would
people
include,
might
that would
say it's
include
cute
two
too.
words.
So again,
That would be two
their
words. So
definition. Right, a bag. No, it's a bag that's cute. That's the definition.
okay, but cute would
A
be
bag that's
subjective to each
cute. It's
individual.
subjective. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, so the bag itself has its own definition, but to call it a cute bag would be a separate definition because you would be adding that it's something that someone would
Right. So what's the
find into
definition
their
of
eye,
chair?
which is subjective to the individual. But a
So
bag itself would remain.
what's the definition of chair?
So the four legs that you sit on, I don't know.
A horse is a chair.
I don't know the exact definition of a chair.
Right. It varies
Something
from
make
people
it
and
sound.
cultures all over. Right. So you asked me what.
Hold on, Mello.
What?
I was talking to Mello. Y'all go ahead. Just try not to interrupt each other so that it's
sure.
easier for us to listen. No.
Right. So I'm saying that it's different across cultures, right? So you would have to ask me you're asking me what the definition is, and I'm saying it's someone's schema on gender that aligns with the female sex. And then you ask me, what does that schema entail? It entails a psychological schema. If you want me to define that, I might have a little bit trouble getting the academic language correct, but I think I have the general idea of what that means.
And what would that be?
It's a collection of beliefs, impressions that you get from the time that you are 3 years old, if we're talking about the schema on gender, up into, adulthood. So it's impressions from the outside world. It's your neurotypical makeup. It's a host of things that all come together to create someone's conception of this social construct.
Okay, let me just ask this question. Do you think sex and gender are different?
Yes,
Then why do you use sex in your definition of a gender?
because they're connected. They're not the same thing. They're just connected.
So they would be synonymous.
No, they're not synonymous. They're just related to each other.
That's what synonymous means.
No, synonymous means it's the same thing.
That's not what synonymous means. Similar would mean same.
No, similar means that they have characteristics that they share, but they're not the same thing. Like a car is similar to a truck, but it's not a truck.
Okay, we'll agree to disagree on that point. But
We'll
again,
agree that a car is similar to a truck, but it's not a truck.
no, about the definition of synonymous, we'll agree to disagree.
Okay. Sure.
Yeah, but again, so if
I
you're
think we
you're
can
declaring
disagree
that the
on that.
definition of a woman is someone whose personal schema aligns with the female sex,
Your schema on gender.
yeah, but you're claiming that sex and gender are different, yet you're using sex in your definition. That's where
The two
I'm
terms are
confused.
related.
Okay, the two terms are related, yet they're not the same. Why would they be related if they're not the same?
Correct. Like
Or you're
being
using them in the same
being
context.
black and being a basketball player are like related, but they're not the same thing.
No, they're not.
I'll go down there.
I'm sorry, did you just compare being a woman and a female to being black and a basketball player?
And a
Yeah.
chair,
No, I
and a
didn't.
car,
I
and a
don't know why
truck.
you would. I don't
Wait,
know why you would assume that.
I'm asking. I didn't assume. I
Swaggy,
asked.
Swaggy,
Yeah, I said no. I
Swaggy.
don't know
Get
why you would assume
introduced.
that. No,
No,
but
that
you
wasn't
did
an
assume because
assumption.
you
That was a
asked me if I
question.
said that or not. So you was
Swaggy,
Okay.
you hadn't been introduced.
Let me handle it. Yeah.
Okay.
Saying you said that, I asked. There's a difference.
You have to
Hold
Or
on,
why?
guys. Christina, you're sounding muffled.
yeah, we can't hear you guys.
All right, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, Swaggy, this is a 1v1. Please stay muted and we'll get to you.
Yeah, I'll tag out in a moment. I'm still trying to get an understanding because it's to my understanding that a definition is supposed to describe the thing, and if your definition needs further defining, then it's not a proper definition.
No,
So
a
if I'm
definition.
asking,
Sorry.
if I'm asking you what that schema is, and you can't give me an answer, then your definition would be invalid if there is no answer to a certain part of the definition.
I did give you an answer, and definitions only describe how words are used, not what things are.
That's exactly what a definition is. It's a description of that word.
No,
And if if a definition is for a noun, it's describing the
then
noun.
why do we add new words to the dictionary? Why is yoink in the dictionary when it was created in a cartoon in the 90s?
Yeah,
Why is
we're
yoink in
talking
there?
about a new word as opposed to a word that's been used for hundreds of years to determine the difference between man and woman.
Which one?
Thousands of years.
Which one?
Man and woman. These are things that we've known. We've had words for them before the English language existed. In other languages, they had words for man and woman.
Right. But how do you explain transgender people in the past?
Yeah, they would just be individuals who have an incongruence with their sex.
Right. So yeah, what's the problem here?
Right, having an incongruence doesn't mean that you are now the other thing solely because you have an incongruence. So
No one
just
said
because
that. You said that.
I didn't say that. That's,
You
that's not
you
at all what I
just
said.
you just
So a
did.
biological male that has an incongruence with his sex is still a biological male, regardless of how he chooses to identify or be perceived.
Right, but they're she's a woman, right? Like me, like
No,
I'm a biological male, right? But I'm a woman, right?
that's biological males can't be women. That's not how that
Why?
works.
Okay, what is the necessary condition to be a woman?
To be an adult human female.
That, but there are people who are women who are not females who have intersex conditions.
Those individuals will still be women. An intersex condition is just a disordered sexual development.
Right, but they're not
But
female.
they are female. There's
What is a
intersex male and
female?
intersex female.
If
Intersex
they
is
don't
not a
produce
third sex.
large, if they don't produce large gametes, then they're not female.
Yeah, so the definition of female is to be other denoting the sex that can produce those gametes. So whether a woman can or cannot produce them, she'd still be a woman, right? Because we know that there are instances with people with menopause that stop producing the gametes, yet they used to do so
We're,
because their body is structured around that production.
but we're talking about intersex people whose bodies aren't structured around that production.
They are structured around the production because if a person is intersex female, that means that they are leaning more towards the female sex. And
No,
that could be them having secondary sex characteristics, which
no.
is
If they're not, if they
naturally
don't make
female.
large gametes, like I
That's
do,
not what makes someone female. You're missing the point. Whether you
that's the
can or
definition.
cannot produce those
The
gametes does
definition,
not
the
matter.
definition of female is a human.
Yeah, Little, stop over talking her.
Yeah, a female is someone who is other denoting the sex that can produce large gametes or bear offspring. That's a definition of female because we know that there are instances of females that maybe early on in life, later down the line of life, if they lose their organs, blah, 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 they're still other denoting the sex that can produce large gametes. So I can't take testicles and put them in a female and they now operate, but I can take a uterus and do a uterus transplant on a female and then they will possibly be able to produce those gametes or be able to give birth. A male body cannot do that, but a female body can.
There are people who have working testes, and
They don't function.
they do. There are people like that.
No, there are individuals who may have a testy in their body, but they would still either be leaning towards male or towards female. You can't be a female and produce small gametes. That's just not how that works. You're either
I never
producing one
claimed
or
that.
the
Why
other.
would you say that?
Hmm?
I never claimed that, so why would you say it?
I'm just saying, in case that was what you were insinuating. I'm just saying those individuals
Irrelevant.
cannot do so. You're either leaning towards one or the other. There's no in between or changing.
No, okay, so why are you saying that when that wasn't my claim either? There's no changing what? No one's claiming to change your schmecks.
You're talking about intersex individuals if they're not male or female.
Right. Because the
They
definition
are intersex male or intersex female.
because the
There's no thing, it's
definition
just intersex.
because the definition of female is a adult human who produces large gametes, right?
No, the definition of female is someone who is ever denoting the sex that can produce those gametes. So an intersex female that may have a chromosomal disorder or a disorder of sexual development would
Where
still
they
be
can't.
female.
Where they can't produce those gametes. So that would make, by the definition, that would exclude them
But
from
they're
the
still
category.
ever denoting the sex that can produce those gametes. Them not being able to doesn't mean that they're now male.
Yeah,
But they were born never being able to. So what are you talking about?
Little. You're not tracking. Whether or not somebody can produce them isn't what makes them male or female. It's that they're denoting the sex that can do that. So whether or not they can actually do it has nothing to do with it.
What denotes it?
Yeah, so
Alright.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, I'm going to pull up the definition of denote since he doesn't know what it means.
Well, not even just there are multiple factors that go into your reproduction, right? It's not just whether the organs themselves. There's your circulatory system, your nervous system, your skeletal system. As we know, a woman's hips are usually wider to be able to give birth, right? So there are
Female,
multiple
female.
factors that go into your reproduction. So, say for instance, your nervous system points in the direction of your uterus and in the direction of your testicles and other parts of your body, like your breast. So a woman's nervous system is structured different than a male's nervous system. So those are all things that go into play. So if they, say for instance, do a scan of her nervous system, they would see that it's structured a certain way, or that her hips are as wide as a female hip. Like there are certain things that go into play. Muscle mass, bone density. Thank you, Elizabeth, in the comments. It's a multitude of things.
Denote, be a sign of, indicating.
Right.
So we're saying that XO chromosomes, triple X chromosomes, these all denote female. That's what we're saying.
No, so typically someone who is female may have XX chromosomes, but we know that there are chromosomal disorders. That's why we don't define
Yeah, I
female
said
as
triple
someone with
X.
XX chromosomes.
I said triple X. I said XO. I didn't say double.
Yeah, those are chromosomal deficiencies, which means there's something wrong in their chromosomal makeup.
What do you mean wrong?
The coding is wrong, right? So typically there is XX and XY. That's the vast majority of our population.
The
But
typical
there are
means
chromosomal variations.
so typical means correct.
No, typical means usual.
Right. And so some people don't have that, right? I mean, I don't even understand why we're talking about sex so much when the topic is what is a woman, right?
Well, you use female sex in your definition. That's why. I
Because
emphasize
sex and gender are related. We've been over this.
right, sex and gender maybe they are related.
Are
And
related,
the
right.
definition of gender is your sex. It's an abbreviation of your stage
No,
of
they're two
development, your
different
sex,
things.
and your.
You're saying they're the same thing. They're two different things.
No, I'm saying that it's an abbreviation, right? So your gender is just an abbreviation of your biology. It's your age, your sex, and your species. Because we have gender terms for a multitude of different things, such as animals, plants, and human beings. And we're not the only things that can be female or male. Plants can be female or male.
So you're
So we
saying
have-
sex and gender are different.
No, I'm saying they're synonymous. They go hand in hand.
No, they're related to each other. They're not synonymous.
They are synonymous. Synonymous means nearly the same. So it's not the exact same, but it's nearly the same
They're
because
not
it's an
nearly the same
abbreviation of your
because
biology.
sex is biological and gender is a social category.
Yeah, so it's a social category, but it's still based on your biology because we know that the social expectations of women includes things like giving birth and being caring, while a man's social expectations is usually being stronger and protecting his family. Those are
It's
social
also
expectations.
wearing
related to
makeup
person.
and dresses, but that has no like biological advantage.
Yeah, those are just certain other aspects that are included in that social implication. It's not defining of men and women, saying that gender is a social construct, but social constructs do not define men and women because we know that there are men and women that don't adhere to those social constructions.
Right, exactly. So trans women are women, right?
No, trans women are males.
So you to exclude them, you need a necessary condition, but you have not provided one.
It's being female.
That's not the necessary condition
It
because
isn't necessary. Can you give me another definition of woman that would encompass all women? Because every
that's the
single
definition I use. So I'm going to give you.
so
the
every single
definition I
woman's
use.
quote unquote personal schema of being female would vary. So that would be 5 million different definitions, most likely more.
What's wrong with that?
That doesn't make sense to use everybody's single personal definition to define what a woman is. You can define what you think
Well, if
a
you
woman may
if you
be or
don't,
what you
then
think
that
your
means
identity is, but that would not apply to every single individual.
so
And
you,
having 5,000 definitions of woman is incoherent.
so you're saying that if two women come together and their definition of what a woman
It doesn't define
is
every single woman.
is different, right?
Okay.
Well, right. No, like no one's really trying to define every single woman, right? By like how they think they are. We're just saying like
Well, that's what
what is the
personal schema
definition of
means.
woman,
Yeah, I
and
like
this is
the
where
that definition of gender. I actually like
this is
that.
where the thing is coming. Like the thing that we're getting lost on is like you think that language is prescriptive, and linguists and people who actually study language know it
It's
to be
descriptive.
descriptive. So the words that we're using describing how they are used, not what they are.
I feel
This
like
is
you're not tracking what I'm saying.
this is. I feel like you're not tracking what I'm saying. Do you
No, I'm
understand?
tracking what you're saying,
Do
but
you,
what you're saying
wait,
is
okay,
incoherent
wait. Do you
with how
understand? Do you
definitions should be
understand?
used.
Wait. Do you understand that linguists say that that language is descriptive? Dictionaries are descriptive. That means that they describe how the words are used, not what the words are, and that these people have
Whoa.
credentials that you don't have. And so I can't sit here and listen to you tell me
That's
that
not
you're
what
smarter
that's
than
not what
them.
definitions do. Definitions are descriptive.
I
They're
can't
supposed
sit
to
here and listen to
define.
you tell me
They're
that you're
supposed to
smarter than
define the
them with no
words.
Hold
credentials.
on,
That's just what it is.
The credentials don't matter. I know how to
Credentials
understand
don't
language.
matter.
I
Then why do
speak
you
I
trust your
speak Eng-
doctor?
Hold on, I can speak English. I understand how words work. I'm a student. That's my
Hold on.
job.
Yeah, but
Pretty.
you're not a linguist, and you're
Right.
disagreeing with them.
I don't know. So I apologize for interjecting, but what you're doing is called a plea to authority. So and that's a fallacy. So that's not really gonna bring
That
bring it.
doesn't invalidate my point, even though it's a
It
fallacy. And
does.
it's not an appeal. I'm just
Fallacy,
saying
meaning it doesn't
it's not
follow.
it's not logical for a person to sit here and try to say that I know more, even though they have no experience in the field.
Yeah,
But I know more.
yeah. What I'm trying to say is that your argument right now is a fallacy. It's called a plea to authority.
Right. It doesn't invalidate what I'm saying though. Like
But you're simply saying that because she's not a linguist, she hasn't studied language, means that her what she is saying is not true.
what she's saying about language is not true. Yeah, that she has like no. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I'm saying, and that's correct. Like if I were to say that, if I were to come in and say that, like I think that the uranium isn't going to decay this way, like I just think that, right? Why should the nuclear scientists listen to me?
Yeah, the difference is everyone uses language and not everyone studies nuclear science. So if in elementary school they didn't teach me how to properly read
No,
a
wait.
dictionary and utilize words, then something's wrong with our education
Not
system.
everyone studies linguistics. Like exactly, like not like it's the same. Like of course, like that's why I'm bringing you this argument to tell you like
So
how this is conceptualized.
can I ask you a question, real quick?
Go for
I
it.
jumped in on this a little late. So are you by any chance a linguist?
Me?
Do you
No,
study linguistics?
I do, but I'm just a hobbyist. I'm not like
Oh,
I don't
okay.
have any
So
credentials.
your whole stance is based on an appeal to authority, saying that you don't know anything because you're not an authority on this matter. But
Well, I
you're
never
just
said you don't know
focused on.
anything. I said you don't know anything about linguistics.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
You're saying that this woman doesn't know anything because she doesn't know anything. She doesn't
About
study
linguistics.
linguistics. Yeah, but neither of you, what you're doing is basically a hobby. So essentially, you are in the same boat as her. What gives you the moral authority to tell her she's wrong?
I didn't make a moral claim.
Ladies and
Okay.
gentlemen of the panel, if you could just give me a brief moment, just because I have been listening. You said that a definition does not define a word or a specific meaning, if I remember that correctly.
No, I said that descriptive means that definitions define how words are used, not what a thing is.
Okay,
So,
let me read
real-
you. Let me read you exactly what the definition of definition is. A statement of the exact meaning of a word, especially in a dictionary, and using it in a sentence. A dictionary definition of the verb. The number 2 definition of it. The degree of distinctiveness in outline of an object, image, or sound, especially of an image in a photograph or on a screen. The clarity and definition of pictures can be aided by using computer graphics. So the definition you gave for a woman is not a definitive of what a woman is. Meaning everything in this world has a definitive definition that you can define it from other things. I.e., like I can say a Pepsi is different from a Coca-Cola because they have these distinctive properties either in their bottles or in their ingredients. You have not
Well,
given a definitive definition of what a woman is because you are encompassing every human on the planet.
Okay, 1 second. So first, after this, I want you to look up prescriptivist versus descriptivist argument.
okay, real
Then
quick,
after that,
little.
I want to tell you that you're using how we use the word definition, not
Okay,
what a definition is.
okay, little, real quick. How about this? So, what is the prescriptive meaning for the word woman? Because you're saying that
There
we're
isn't
using
one.
descriptive, so there isn't one. Okay, so prescriptive meaning that this is the end goal. This is how you fix something, right? To fix, to prescribe, or I mean to give,
Not
right?
in this context. It doesn't mean that. It means prescriptivist in the
Okay,
context of linguistics.
okay. What do you mean by that? Because you just said prescriptive means prescriptive.
Meaning, it
That's
means
literally what you just said.
no. I'm going to describe to you what it means. It means that like the use of the word is like you're describing the word. You're giving me the definition and saying that's what
Yeah.
it
So
is, not what we're describing.
describing would mean when you were describing a
What
word.
was my definition? Did you hear it or
Real
did you?
quick, I didn't. That's not where I'm. Hear me out. Give me
You
a
didn't
second.
want. So why did you ask
Yeah,
me the question if you
yeah.
didn't want to hear
Little.
it?
Give me a second. I
Didn't want.
want to hear it,
Why
but
should
give
I
me a
hear your
second.
answer if you didn't want to hear
Yeah,
mine?
little.
I'm about done with him, to be honest.
Yeah.
Her
Hear
actually.
me out real quick. I wanna ask you this question, right? So you keep arguing that there what we are doing is a descriptive term. We are using
Right.
it in a descriptive way and
Right.
not a prescriptive way. And then when I asked you what is the prescriptive meaning of these words,
You didn't
you said
listen.
there isn't one.
There
You
isn't a
literally said there
no. I
isn't
said there
one.
isn't a prescriptive description of
Okay,
the word women. There isn't a
no,
prescriptive definition of woman.
I asked you what the prescriptive meaning was, not the prescriptive description. That's not what I
I
asked. So
corrected
maybe you're
myself and
not
said
paying attention.
meaning.
Yeah, so meaning. So if there isn't a prescriptive meaning and all we have is a descriptive meaning, what is your argument based on?
It's based on you
I
asking me
made it.
what my,
Yeah,
what
it's
my
made.
definition
It
of woman
sounds like
is.
your argument. It sounds like your argument is it came from www.imadeitthefuckup.com. It sounds like you don't actually know what you're talking about.
That's fine if
Yeah,
you think
you're
that.
using big
So
terms. You're using big words, but when you actually get pressed on them, you
I'm
don't
not
actually know what you're
using
saying.
big darn big.
All right,
When
hold
you're
on.
defining.
I'm sorry, Jay, but a little. You're getting really annoying with the interjecting. You're not listening. You're not listening. You're waiting to respond. That's really getting annoying. You got to stop interjecting people.
I'm sorry, it's so
Yeah.
easy to annoy you.
No, speak one at a
I can't.
I have one question actually, little. When we talk about women's health, what is that? Who is that directed towards?
Women,
And what would that? Who would those individuals be? Like, what would
me
their?
for one.
Okay, when you talk about women's health, what does that entail? What are some exams that women go through?
What are some exams that women go through? A
Yeah.
checkup. I've gotten.
No, not you specifically. I'm not asking for your personal anecdote. I'm
But
like
you said
saying in
women.
general. Yeah, so not you. So if I were to describe,
But I am a woman.
okay, you're not a woman, but if I were to describe women's healthcare and women's procedures, I don't need to say, oh, I had this, I had that. I'm asking you, what procedures do women get? What exams do they get when they go into a gynecologist? What exams do they administer to
I don't
women?
go to a
Well,
gynecologist.
pretty,
No.
real quick.
You go to a urologist?
Wait,
I've
pretty,
never been
real
to that
quick.
either.
This is very
Oh,
important. I want to point this out. Little. Is there any possible chance ever in the future of you contracting cystic ovarian cancer?
I
No,
think that
but I
answer is
could get
obvious.
breast cancer.
Can I interject
Is
really?
is there ever a possible chance that you would ever be able to get pregnant?
Maybe. Who knows?
Is it no, not because of some miraculous scientific invention. I'm talking naturally.
what does natural mean in context?
Meaning that your body does it on its own, not with the help of a machine.
Machine.
Is it possible? Do you naturally produce more estrogen than you do testosterone?
He's
No.
asking, is it possible for you to be
Naturally.
Yes, naturally, meaning that you don't have to have an injection for it.
No, I got to take injections.
Okay, then. So everything you are describing, you are not a woman by definition, because these are things that actual women have to deal with on a
Is this an
regular
appeal to
basis.
naturalism?
These are risks and no, these are things that women struggle with every single day. These are things that you cannot and will not ever experience. And I think it's very disingenuous for you to come up here and say, I am a woman. I have to deal with things that women have to deal with.
There's nothing you can
really
do
don't.
about me being
Outside
one,
of having your makeup done pretty, outside of having your
I don't
makeup
wear
done
makeup.
pretty, and outside of choosing the right heels or putting on a pair of set of clothes or doing your hair a certain way, what makes you a woman?
Right, but that's what you say, but there's nothing you can like change. You can't like change that I'm a woman. There's nothing you could do about it.
No. I can't change that you're a woman because you're not a woman. That's how that works.
No, you can't change it because
If
I
you were
am,
born-
and there's no power that you have.
No. Yeah, little. If somebody were
Wait a
to
minute, hold on. The thing is that everyone is saying is you can identify however you want. If you want to identify as a car and go vroom vroom all day, you can do that.
I could.
But you also have to live in reality. And the
I do.
Hold on. And the reality is, you are, if you're, I hope you're over the age of 18, you are an adult human male. You cannot, with us being mammals, we are humans, but we are animals. We are mammals. And us as mammals, we cannot change our reproductive pathway. So no matter what you think or how you feel, and what everyone is getting at is no matter how you look or how you present to society, no matter how you feel, the fact of the matter is you are an adult, you are a human, and you are a male by definition.
All right, so let me interrupt you here, right? So despite what you say, that whole diatribe, it changed absolutely nothing about me being a woman.
Yeah.
Like, how can you change it personally? Like, I want to know.
This is
what
very
can you do?
disingenuous of you. No,
Can I interject?
Real
Can I
quick,
interject?
guys, real quick. Little, this is very disingenuous of you. This is like if this is the equivalent of coming onto a TikTok live and saying, "I'm gonna whoop your ass," and what are you gonna do about it? What are you gonna do about it? It's cheap.
Because you have to say nothing. Because you literally have to say nothing.
So let me ask you this. This is very. I'm gonna make this very blunt and very clear.
Ugh.
Were you born with XX or XY chromosomes?
I don't know.
You don't know. It sounds to me like there might be some issues going on. You might need to go see a doctor, or maybe.
I mean, yeah, I got a checkup coming in a few months.
Ask them then.
Well, I'm only suggesting this to you because I do care about all humans. The thing is that one of the things that differentiates men, women, is I hope you ask your doctor to check your prostate. Because only men have prostates. Women do not.
Guys, it's not working. Like,
Yeah,
I mean,
so-
this is not convincing me. You have to.
Yeah, I don't really care to convince you.
I will change my mind. Like, I
Hold on.
definitely will.
Yeah, I don't really care if you change your mind or not. I'm just making it a point to make sure that you know, as an adult human male, you'll never be a woman. And it's okay if you change your phenotypical traits to
That's just
appear
not
like
true.
a woman. Hold on.
'Cause I am.
Hold on. It's okay if you change your phenotypical traits to look like a female, but the definition of woman remains. Women's health applies to females. Women's prisons are for females. Women's sports are for females, and that
This
will
is
never
not going to
change.
change me.
And
Being in
yeah,
your
I don't
bathroom,
really care
playing your
about what
sports,
I don't really care
being
about
in a
what
women's jail. None of this is going to change that. This is
yeah,
what's
I
going to
don't.
happen.
Again, however you perceive yourself doesn't really matter
It's
to
how
me.
others perceive me too.
Yeah, nobody is perceiving you as a woman. They're
How do you
walking
know
through-
that? How do
They're
you
walking
know
through
that?
society. Hold on.
How do you
Everyone
know
else
that?
pause. Everyone else pause. What they're presuming is that you're a male that's attempting to resemble
So you
females.
can
And
just read minds, huh?
they may respect your pronouns, just like myself. I don't mind respecting pronouns if I assume that you're in the middle of your transition or you ask me to do so. I don't mind, but the fact remains that you are a man. That never changes despite your
No,
transition.
no,
That's
I'm
okay. What you're doing actively
not
is
a
taking taking away, yes, what you're doing actively is taking away from the actual experience of trans
No,
women by saying that you're a woman. That takes away from the actual
no, it
trans
doesn't. It
identity,
doesn't take
which
away
is
from. It doesn't
it's
take away from my
disrespectful to
experience.
your own community,
No,
and I
it's
wish you
not.
would stop doing so because this exact argument that you're pushing that being a woman is an idea in every
Many
single
words
person's
doesn't
head
make you
that you can
win.
just
And
claim. Hold on,
make it
that you can just
reality.
claim for
Yeah.
yourself is insane and it's hurting your own community. And I really wish the individuals like yourself would stop doing so because what you're saying out of your mouth is what people are going to twist and use as a harmful rhetoric. Do better.
I also
That's
want
their
to point out
choice.
something real quick. A little. I want to ask you a question
Uh,
because this is a very very important question. I want this gets down to the nitty gritty of things. I
all right,
think.
let me roll up this
So
garden supply. What up?
when it comes to when we are talking about transgenderism, right? When we were talking about an individual who was born male, transitioned to female, and says, "I am not a man, I am a
Transition to
woman,"
woman.
right? So, what is the difference between a trans man and a crossdresser outside of their thoughts?
Outside of their thoughts, they,
Yeah, outside of their mental state and outside of what they believe they are, what is the difference between a trans woman and a
how they express
crossdresser?
their gender. Like
Yeah, both
cross-dressers,
of them express their genders in a feminine
cross-dressers
manner.
generally
So,
don't.
what is the
Let me
difference?
answer. Cross-dressers generally don't. They generally don't.
I'm talking, and keep in mind, I'm talking from a physical standpoint. I'm not talking about how they feel
Wait,
or
you
how
just
they
said that you
perceive
said
how they
outside of
look.
their
I'm
thoughts.
talking,
So, which is it?
yeah, outside of their mental perspective, meaning just the way they look. What is the difference between a crossdresser
Wait,
and a
wait. So
trans
let me
woman?
clarify. Mental perspective means just the way that they look.
No, he's
That's
asking
literally
you
not
from
what I
an
I'm
said.
asking. I'm asking.
observational standpoint.
From exactly like Kevin said, from an observational standpoint, what is the difference between a crossdresser and a
What
trans
does
woman?
observational standpoint mean in this context?
Meaning that if somebody, for
Aesthetics
instance, if I were to walk up,
from an aesthetic point.
yeah, if I were to walk up to you,
Visual.
right, and I saw you little, and then I saw another individual who I was a crossdresser, right? Let's say they were a crossdresser, and I didn't know their mental capacity. I didn't know what they were thinking. I've never talked to either of these people. How would I be able to determine the difference between the trans woman and the
Ask
crossdresser?
them.
Yeah, without asking them. That's the whole point of this. Without asking,
You
how
just
do I
wouldn't know.
determine? You wouldn't know. Okay, so in essence, the only difference between a trans woman and a crossdresser is one thinks that they're actually
It's
a woman.
gender identity. That's what it is.
Yeah,
I don't know.
no,
Maybe if you get off that shit, you wouldn't have these intrusive thoughts.
So,
Just saying.
so a woman is
possibly.
Intrusive thoughts.
gender. One's
Wait, I
gender.
had these
one's
thoughts
sex.
before I started smoking.
So a woman is gender, but female is sex, right?
Yeah, but you conflate the two.
So why is the definition of a woman an adult human female?
It's an abbreviation of your biological makeup. It's a gender term, right? So gender terms apply to all species.
Real quick,
That's not the
anonymity.
definition that I would use.
Well, I don't
Yeah,
care about what
My point is, if they're
that's
separate,
what
and one's
it means.
identity, and one's a social construct, and one's biological, why does the definition include both?
That's
Yeah,
not the
so
definition of
a
scientific
social
community
construct
either.
doesn't hold on a little. A social construct doesn't define what a man or a woman is. It defines the expectations of men and women, right? So the expectations of a woman would be being a wife, being a mother, being a caretaker of the home, blah 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 blah. But we know that there are women that don't adhere to those social expectations. That's why we don't define women
Well,
by
pretty,
those social
pretty. I wouldn't
expectations.
even say that. I would just say that it would define what society has agreed that this is, not necessarily what the expectations are, because you can
So they're
still,
different.
like, the definition wouldn't change because one doesn't meet that expectation. However, we know as a society what a man is, what a woman is. We have definitions for this, and I can agree that the definition would be subjective, but it's not going to change based on meeting some criteria through like some type of action or way of life.
Are they different in every society though?
Well,
Like the expectations?
No, they're gonna be
that
they're gonna be
would
different in every
take-
society.
Why is
So,
that?
so a woman
The
in America
roles
wouldn't be a
are gonna
woman
be
in
different.
Afghanistan.
Everyone.
Wait, the roles are gonna be
I've
different.
been-
The
I've been-
definition is not.
Hold on, Kevin. Hold on. I've been patient.
You're kind of low, realist. We can't really hear you.
The thing is, when you say something when it goes in terms to species, it applies to everybody around the world. What I mean by that is, let's take a different species of mammal. A lioness is going to be an adult female lion in America, she's going to be an adult female lion in Japan. If a female was born to an Asian couple, she is still going to be a little girl. If a YT couple has a little baby and it is a male, it is always going to be a little baby boy. That is synonymous for every human on the planet. A woman, no matter what nationality, no matter where they are in the world, a woman is an adult human female. A man is an adult human male. It doesn't matter whether he's BLK, whether he's Asian, Russian. If you were born a male, if you're an adolescent, you're a boy. If you're an adult, you're a man. That goes for every human on the planet. A man or a male cannot become a female.
Yeah, so you even have to think that pokes holes in Little's definition of what a woman is, because you said that someone who aligns with the female sex, but that applies to animals as well. So you would have to
Female
further
and
explain
gender.
it. Yeah,
Female
you're
and
still
gender.
hold on,
Animals
you're
don't
still
have gender.
hold on. Yeah, we do have gender.
Wait, that's not true.
Hold on, we do have. Hold on. I study animals. We have gendered terms for animals. We
Gender
know what a
terms is
stallion.
not gender.
Hold on. We know what a stallion is. We know what a mare is. We know what a doe, a buck, a hen. Like we have,
Same
we have
argument.
words. We have words for these things for a reason. It's an abbreviation of their biology, from their age, their sex, to their species, to better understand. Because if we just say, "Oh, it's a female," we don't understand what that means, because that applies to a multitude of animals plus humans and plants. That's why we have gendered terms, because it's sex recognition. We like animals know when, let's say, a male horse understands when a female horse becomes an adult and is in heat, right? They have recognition. They already have gender. We just have a word for it. They don't use words. We do.
Right. So explain to a horse what a stallion is.
I don't have to explain it to. They already know. They have sex recognition.
They know what the word stallion is.
No, okay. We know.
Some
We know
words
what
to
a
it. No,
stallion. We
listen,
know
no,
what a
no, no,
stallion
no,
is.
stop interrupting.
Hold on. Let me
It's all
explain.
about
Let me
interrupting
explain.
here,
Let me
right?
explain. Let me
No,
explain.
no, because you
No,
stop.
you asked me a
No,
question. Allow me to explain. So, a mare, an adult female horse, knows what a stallion is because they have sex recognition. They understand the difference between an adolescent horse and an adult horse. So, a stallion is absolutely an adult male horse. So, they recognize it as an adult male horse. They don't know the word. We use the word because we're the only species on this planet that uses words. But they know which is the stallion, which is the mare, which is the foal. The gilding. These are all words that we use. Those are adolescent and adults. That's the difference. Only we use the words, but they know what it is.
Now he's muting and
Because,
unmuting.
because humans are the most intellectual
Wait,
species.
real quick,
I had a
Hang on,
whole
I
thing
think
I
the host was trying to say
really
something.
like
Guys,
cut me
guys,
off.
Hold on,
Hold on,
everyone.
guys. I
guys,
think
real
the
quick,
host was trying to speak.
guys.
Hold on. Humans are the most intellectual species.
Realist, he's trying to talk.
We are the top of the food chain.
Realist, stop talking
Bro,
for a
the
second.
host is trying to talk, man.
My apologies, host.
Too many people talking at once.
My bad, host.
I think Tui was trying to say something first.
You sounded
Did
muffled,
everyone else understand
Christina.
me? Did everyone get what I said?
I understood you.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
Okay,
got it.
good.
I understood exactly what you're saying, pretty.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Can I engage,
What,
though?
right
Just
after
curious.
me, Kevin. Right after me.
Okay, go
I'd love to
ahead.
hear you. I'd love to hear you engage. This is gonna be great. But
Me too.
yeah,
I would love to hear that.
little. I think the big issue that we have with your definition is, at least for me as a gay man myself, I think it's very homophobic of a term of a definition to use, because essentially what you are doing is you are taking my sexuality and you are throwing it in the trash in order to justify your self identity. Because your self identity, and I wanted to ask you this previously, which was, do you think that a gay man that doesn't want to date a trans man is transphobic?
No.
No. Okay. If a biological man, if a man, or if a woman did not want to date a trans man, would she be transphobic?
No.
Okay. So I'm assuming if I were to continue to go down the list, they would all be no, and all the different kinds
Yeah,
of
everyone's got a
combinations.
preference.
Concept of a preference, right? How is that not innately transphobic? If you are not accepting an individual's identity, right? If somebody self-identifies as a man, for instance, you say I am a woman. I am not a trans woman. I am not a biological man. I am a woman.
Wait, no, I am
If
a
a
trans woman.
biological man, so you're not a woman.
No,
You're a trans woman.
no. Trans is a descriptor. It's
Yeah,
a
no.
type of woman. I'm a type of woman.
Exactly. Yeah, no.
Yeah, what
It
does
is
trans
trans
mean?
woman is a type of man.
Hey, go,
Trans
yeah, what
is
does
a
trans
description,
mean?
like red apple. It's a type of
Yeah,
apple.
sure.
Real
What does
quick,
it mean?
Kevin asked this question. It is a beautiful question.
What's it
What
mean?
does the term trans mean?
What is
What
it?
does that
It means
prefix? What does that
it means
prefix mean?
across. It means across from.
Yeah, across from. So if you're saying you're a trans
Yeah.
woman, that means you're across from a woman. You're on the other side of a woman.
No, shouldn't it be the opposite? I mean, in
Yeah,
your, I don't think it.
or a better way of putting it is you were not a woman at one point,
Right. So
and then you
hang on,
self-identified
can I
as a
answer?
woman, which
Can I
means
just
you did not
answer?
start as a
Can I
woman.
answer? So to address what you both guys just said, about the whole like trans being descended from like Latin or whatever, are all the
That's not what we
are
said. Not even close to what we said.
wait. I know you didn't say that trans is descended from
No,
Latin.
we were talking about the etymology of the term trans. We didn't mention the word Latin once.
I'm right. I understand that, and I'm not accusing you of anything, right? I'm just saying it is a Latin word. It's descended from Latin. So my next point is every word that's descended from Latin that's used in English still have its original definition as it was in Latin, or are they different now?
Yeah,
Well-
that makes it's irrelevant to what we were talking about to begin
Okay,
with.
well, hang on. So let's grant this, right? What is an etymology of a word, and how does
It's-
it correlate to the definition?
How does the etymology of a word correlate to the definition?
Yeah, would you say that every word
Because since definitions are descriptive, the etymology would be describing how a word was used in the past.
no, it describes its origin,
Yeah, not
and
even.
it breaks it down, prefix,
Yeah.
suffix, and body.
I mean, that's included
For
in
someone
it.
who claims to be a
Is what I
linguist,
said
you
not
should know this.
included in etymology? Is what I said not included in etymology, or is
Kevin,
it?
real quick, I think there needs to be there's a disconnect.
Yes or no?
Etymology etymology is the origin. It is the history of the word, not the definition of the word. So the
I never
history of
claimed
the
it to
word-
be the definition.
Yeah,
I never claimed that.
I never
that to
said
be
you
true.
did. I'm
I mean,
clarifying.
this is
So
just
why are you
semantics
addressing that?
anyway. It doesn't
I'm
matter.
clarifying something to be specific and clear.
Okay.
All right.
Well, Chewy, I
So-
think we should let Kevin. Chewy, I think we should let Kevin have a go for a little bit. Okay.
Yeah, I just want to let me finish this real quick and I'll shut up. It's when we are talking about the etymology of a word, like I said previously, we are not defining the word. We're talking about its history. Where did the word come from? Where did it start?
Exactly. I know that.
Right? And so we use our history to define what the word is.
That's
That is all I
prescriptive.
wanted to say.
That's prescriptive.
Yeah, so the etymology, I guess, in the scenario would be prescriptive, and the definition would be descriptive.
No, I'm saying that using our history to describe words as we use them now is prescriptive. And that's not how people who study language look at language or
Well,
etymology.
Kevin, your turn. Go for it, buddy.
All right, so really quick, give me the argument for you being a woman that doesn't presuppose that you are one.
Wait, why?
I'm just asking for it.
I want to get back to the word trans thing. Hold on. We
Yeah, no,
can
we're
go back
past
to that.
that.
We can circle back. But
You were past that.
I'm really interested in it.
Well, I'm not.
Well, I'm not interested in your question. So I guess we move on.
Wait. So you don't have an argument for you being a woman without presupposing?
No, we're
you are
moving
one?
on. I'm sorry, you didn't hear me. We're moving on.
Oh, so we're moving on. So then there's literally no purpose for you being here.
I
I
want
would
to.
love to engage with you, bro.
I mean,
I'm
I
just
want to
saying,
engage.
like-
I want to engage with what you said, but you don't want to engage with
Okay,
it.
go ahead.
I don't know why.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. So
Go ahead.
why did we bring up the what the trans part of transgender means? It means across from, and then you said like across from. It means you would be across from a woman, like, and then I said, is every Latin derived word in English have the same definition that it had in Latin? And
Well-
then we just skipped over that part. So I want to get into that part. Can you answer that question?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, sure. Language evolves. Like
That's
I would,
right.
I can. Yeah, don't interrupt me, please.
I'm agreeing.
Okay, I don't. Well, you can do that quietly. Thank you.
I did.
All right, so yeah, I'll concede, right, that language evolves. I have no problem making that concession at all. However, the definition that you're using for the word woman has zero explanatory power, none whatsoever. And what I mean by that is when someone says, hey, what's a woman? And then you give this long, drawn out definition about people that subscribe to the idea of what a woman is.
That's not what I
It's
said.
not, I'm not done. Just calm down.
You're misconstruing my argument, so I'm going to stop you when you're doing that.
No.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
It's
Sorry.
disingenuous.
Well, you can't call it disingenuous. I'm yielding the floor. Go ahead.
You yield. Oh, you yield.
I'll actually jump.
I don't need help. I think you do.
Realist, please don't. We've kind of been letting people interject a little bit here and there, but I'm kind of wanting to put a stop to that.
And I'm sorry, realist. I'm not trying to be rude. I'm really not.
Oh no, you good? I thought you said you yielded. That's why my apology.
No, I'm yielding to him. He wanted to stop me because I was misrepresenting his argument. So I'm giving him a chance. I'm yielding the floor for him to have an opportunity to clarify.
My bad, Kevin. I misunderstood. Like I said, my apologies.
What were we talking about?
Holy fucking shit, bro. Put the pipe down.
Who's misrepresenting your arguments?
Yeah, I forgot what homeboy was even saying because.
Okay.
Okay, define a woman. What's a woman?
An adult human whose schema whose schema on gender aligns with the female sex.
Schemon? What is that?
A schema is a psychology term. It means like a neurological impression of a societal construct. That's basically the shortest definition that I can give without reading from Wikipedia. But it's more complicated than that. But
Okay, sure. So basically, I'm just going to say this is like a psychological profile. Would you agree with that?
I think that's a bit reductionist. But I mean, my definition was also reductive too. So go ahead.
Your definition is very broad, and I'm going to demonstrate to you how it has no explanatory power. So now, if I'm standing in a group of people, let's go even more specific. Let's say that I'm standing before a male and before a female, right?
Right.
Excuse me. And let's say they both look similar, not the same, similar. Let's say that one is 5'11", has long brown curly hair, still wears makeup, still wears a dress, make up the dress. I don't fucking care.
Right.
But and the other is 5'3", long blonde hair, blue eyes, same dress. Now, if I asked you which one is the woman, and I had to go off of your definition, how much explanatory power would you say that would have? And let's suppose that, per the hypothetical, the outcome of your answer is going to dictate which one was guilty of a major heinous crime.
Right. So what is the definition of explanatory power?
Yeah, it just means that there is no power of explanation behind the definition you've given.
What?
It means it's not compelling at all.
One more time. Can you give that to me one more time? It's not compelling. Okay, go ahead.
It doesn't compel anyone to adopt your view. It doesn't. It wouldn't convince me that this is the definition of the word.
Right.
It would basically beg the question.
What it begs the question. What is the question?
The question would be, which one is a woman?
Which one tells me they're a woman?
Wait, they're both mute.
They're both.
Neither one of them can speak. Both of them are. Maybe it's Helen Keller and Helen Keller's twin sister.
Right.
Twin brother, rather.
Right. Helen Keller learned how to communicate with people, so.
She was mute, and we'll say she learned. Well, yeah, she communicated with sign language. Let's say that their hands are zip tied behind their back. No way to communicate.
And you're asking me how do we know which one is a woman? And like we're in like a court or something, and we have to figure out.
Sure.
And
it's up to you.
Someone.
Yeah, let's say that
How am I going to
let's say that
determine it?
hang on. Let's say that the woman is the one that committed this action,
I can't determine who's a man or a woman in that situation.
but you have to.
I'm
And if
not.
you apply, wait, you have to. Now, if you apply your definition, you basically just agreed with me.
Wait, I'm
that
not
your,
able to.
hold on, I'm not done. You just agreed with me that your definition in application has zero explanatory power.
When did I
Because
agree?
you just said, I could not determine which one was the woman.
In that very specific scenario, but in a million other scenarios where their arms aren't
But
chopped
we're not
off.
talking about a million other scenarios. That's a straw man of my argument.
Well, it's not a straw man.
It would be a straw man. You're misrepresenting my argument now,
No,
which
because
I'm
I'm
going
not
to stop
arguing.
you.
I'm not arguing for what I just said. I'm still arguing your point. So it's not a straw man.
Wait, that's not what a straw man is, bro. A straw
straw
man
man
is
is attacking-
is
attacking-
an
building another
over-reduction
position and
or a
attacking that.
misrepresentation of
This is-
any given premise or argument. And by saying that, well, based on this very rare incident, but what about all these other? No.
That's not a straw
that's
man. Me saying it's
Okay,
this-
cool. Then at best, it's a pivot. Answer the
It's
question.
not a pivot either.
Answer the question.
I did answer the question. I said I'd be unable to determine.
So then you're conceding that your definition has zero explanatory power.
I still don't understand what explanatory power means. I've never
It
even heard
means your
this term.
definition doesn't explain shit.
Yes,
nothing.
it does.
It doesn't.
What?
You even applying your own definition with the hypothetical given to you, you
In this
could
very
not make
specific
a
hypothetical.
shut up.
No.
Even
this
in
very
the
specific
hypothetical given to you, when you're forced to use your definition to determine which one is the biological woman, you conceded yourself that you could not make the deduction.
Yeah, Kevin, I gave you mod powers. By the way, I don't know if you realize this is Christina, by the way.
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
Happy Mother's Day, by the way.
I'm not a mother, but thanks.
Oh, I thought you were. I'm sorry.
No.
I said it earlier.
Well, for all of the mothers in here, happy Mother's
Thanks.
Day.
Appreciate you.
You're not a fucking mother.
You're
Shut
not
up.
a mother.
But
Okay.
I gave you mod powers, Kevin.
Well, thank you. I mean, I don't think I'll need them, but thank you.
Y'all really need this,
Do not
don't
take
y'all?
away. Do not take
No,
away.
I don't need this. I'm look.
Y'all like, I need this
Look.
win. I need
Dude,
one.
Dude,
We're in
you've
the
already
bathrooms.
given the win. I'm just putting the last nail in the coffin.
Oh God, yeah, sure. That's your narrative, and you
You've
need
al-
it. So
Wait, what do you mean by narrative? What narrative? What positive claim have
the
I asserted here?
story. Wait, the story that you're telling yourself is this a narrative? People use narratives all the time.
Bro, let's not use terms we don't understand. Now, are you agreeing with me that when applying your definition to the given scenario that you could not determine which one the woman was?
No,
You're not agreeing to that? Or no, you couldn't?
because there's nothing I could use to determine whether or not they're a woman. I can use something to determine whether or not they're male or female. Given what is typical of human beings, I could do
Well,
that.
outside of testing or stripping them down and violating their human rights, I would say that wouldn't be possible. Would you agree with that?
That would be possible if that is another stipulation in your
No,
hypothetical.
no, no. I'm
that you can't
asking
do
you
that.
outside.
I just answered. I said yes,
listen
you
to the
heard me.
wait. Listen to the
You heard
question
me.
again, because you said it was possible.
I answered.
You said your answer was it's possible, right?
It is possible.
Okay, so
determine whether
now
or not they're male or female.
by saying it's possible, you're saying it is possible to strip these two people down
I
and
never said
violate
that.
their human.
You said
Shut
that.
up! I am in
You're
the
the
middle
first
of a
person who said that.
sentence. You
Why do you
just
keep saying
did.
shut up?
You
Like,
just
is there any-
said.
have I ever
Oh my
said shut
God!
up
Do
to
I
you?
need to turn my microphone up?
Maybe you do. Have I ever said shut up
Okay,
to you?
cool.
Oh,
Do you
can
need
you
to feel big?
control yourself and just let him finish?
Yeah, I haven't interrupted you at all, bro. You
Well,
continually
stop
interrupt
saying
me.
shut up.
What, if you would just do that and let me finish my sentence without interrupting me, I wouldn't have to, would I?
No, you can't be rude to me. I'm sorry.
Oh, I can. I absolutely can.
Go ahead. Go off then, Queen.
So now, but I don't want to.
Go ahead,
You're
Queen.
forcing my hand. So
Go
now,
ahead.
again, are you saying it is possible to strip these people down, violate their human rights, to determine which one of these two women, or these two people, rather, would be guilty of this crime, being the given condition that the biological woman is the one that committed the crime?
You have to unmute, bro.
How to do it? He's been doing it this whole time.
Garden. I ain't say that.
Bro, how high you are is not my problem. That's a you problem.
So I answered your question. You have anything more? Do you have anything
Yeah,
more?
you said it's possible. So you would be for, you would advocate in this instance
Oh,
to
wait.
violate their human rights to determine
Wait, let me talk.
biologically which
First of
one
all,
was
let
the
me
female.
talk. You were talking the whole time. Let me talk.
There you go again, interrupting me again.
You gonna let me answer the question?
You said you already did.
I didn't. I never said that.
Oh,
Why
now
are
you
putting words
didn't
in my
answer the
mouth?
question. Please, by all means,
What did I
host,
say? What did I say?
moderators,
What did I
by
say?
all means,
What
can
did I
you
say?
confirm or
What
deny
did
that
I
I
say?
am or am not losing my fucking mind here? And he is
You
just
are not losing
backstroking
your
like
mind.
crazy?
Yeah, you're not
Literally,
losing
you
your
said,
mind.
I
Okay,
already
cool.
answered the definition. You literally said
First
that.
of all, I said I ain't say that. That's what I said. That was my answer to your question. I said I ain't say that, and then you said it.
Wait, you didn't say it was possible? You did not
So
say it was possible.
when did I say that?
When I
Did I say
asked you the question, if
Yo,
we would violate their rights, strip them down to tell, because you said, well, I can't
what
ask
I
them.
said, what I said is that it was possible to determine whether or not they are male or female. That's what
Based
I said.
how?
And then you started
How?
thinking about stuff.
By observation without violating their rights. How?
Then you said by observation, by not violating their rights, and then
Yeah,
got into
how?
this whole
Answer the question.
rigmarole. I can't.
You can't, exactly. Which means you're conceding again that your
If
definition of a
you
woman
just saying
has
I'm
no
conceding does
explanatory
not mean
power.
I'm conceding. That's not what that means. Like, I'm sorry.
Really? What's it mean then?
It
Tell
means
me.
you're saying that I'm conceding because that's what you want to believe in your head. Like, that's
This is
fine.
why I don't talk to motherfuckers that just like drink and smoke and all this other stupid shit. That's why I don't talk to people like
Right,
that.
because you're so
You
much,
can't have a conversation
so
with them.
much better, right? Yeah.
Yes, I'll say that. And I believe
Yeah,
that.
yeah, and I don't like tooting my own horn,
Some
but yeah,
people are
in
good and
every
some
way.
people are bad, right? Yeah, makes sense.
Wait, what's that? What's that saying you always say, Kevin?
I fuck with y'all. I like chilling with y'all.
Which one? The one about him having 2 brain cells and they're fighting for 3rd place?
Yeah.
They can't even fight right now, bro. They're like laying on their stomachs sunbathing.
I just like hearing all the truth for real. Because really, I be out in the streets and really, y'all never bark for real. But y'all bark on here, though. So I fuck with that.
See,
What are you talking about?
the fact of
Just
the matter
Braid Rock by
rambling at
now.
this point.
This is just Braid Rock by now.
Hold on, everyone. Hold on. The fact
So
of
now,
the
while
matter
ago,
is,
hold
there's
on,
nothing
realist, I'm
that-
not quite done. I still have one more question. So now, while ago, you were saying to, I think it was Baby. You were saying, you were going off on this diatribe. You were saying, well, you can't stop me from being a woman, and there's nothing you can do, and yada, 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 which is why I asked you the simple request. Give me your argument for how you are a woman that does not presuppose you are one, because that whole diatribe presupposes that you are.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it absolutely does.
No, because I gave you the definition that psychologists and biologists use.
You know what a presupposition is?
I do.
What is it?
When you
Demonstrate
make
it.
It's when you make an argument and you assume a premise that's not
Yeah,
true.
you're assuming you are a woman. I'm asking for the argument for that.
You can't prove that I'm not without touching me.
I don't have to. I hold a negation. The burden of proof would be on you, so I'm asking for the argument.
Right, and I said that a woman is a person whose schema on gender aligns with the female sex, and then mine does, and so that proves that.
Yeah, wait. Again, another presupposition. Just saying that it does
It's not
doesn't
a
automatically
presupposition.
mean
No,
that
no,
it
no, no.
does.
No, it's not a presupposition because I'm
It-
giving you the. I'm
Okay.
giving you the
I'm done,
definition.
guys. You
I'm
guys
giving
can do
you the
whatever. I'm done.
definition
This
that's
dude is
used by
he's an
biologists and
idiot. Like,
psychologists.
this is
If you
dumb.
want to sit here and act like you're better than them,
I am
no
in
more than
every
them.
way possible. Do you
All
want to know
right,
why?
then
Because
you
I'm not
conceded.
holding
Then you
on to some
conceded.
delusion that I can absolutely be something that I'm not, especially on Mother's Day, bro. Like, I'm not gonna sit up here. I would never sit in a room with women in it and say, "Hey guys, I'm a male. I'm an adult human male, and I am the same as you guys in
Right.
every single way, despite everything that they offer to this world."
We're not the
Like,
same.
that's just wild work, bro.
Trans women are not the same as cis women in every way.
You're right. They're fucking men.
Wrong. They're male.
Please do not say cis
No, they're
women.
men.
Just women.
Why?
Because first off, cis Women saying cis to any normal person.
You keep saying it.
I don't even care about that.
It
I
is
don't
a
care about that
short
because it
normal
means nothing. So,
Women and
like
men.
somebody in the trans community saying, "Oh, hey, you're cis." I don't fucking care. You can call me whatever you want. I don't care. I know who I am, unlike you.
Real women and real men
Right.
do not
Based
know.
on what?
Based on the fact that I can prove who I am.
Right. How?
You,
Okay.
however,
prove you're a
cannot.
man.
How can I prove that I'm a man?
Yeah, prove it.
I'm an adult. I'm a human, and I'm a male.
Right.
By definition, and I produce small gametes.
Right.
I am of the nature of
But
producing small gametes.
is that an appeal to nature? I don't produce.
Absolutely
small gametes.
not.
I don't produce small gametes.
Bro, you're using these philosophical terms that you clearly don't
You just
understand when
said
your entire
gamete.
argument has been one large presupposition. You sat here through the linguistics debate with Pretty
Listen,
and appealed to authority the entire
Right.
time.
Let me just say this.
Like,
Let me
it's
just
just
say
why,
this.
bro, you can't
Let
fucking
me just say
debate,
this.
man.
I say
Like,
this.
you have
to
no
I
clue
say
what
this
you're
to you
doing.
guys all the time. But
I don't
somewhere,
care if you see us all the time. Now, what the fuck does
Just
that
give me a
have to do
second.
with
Just give me-
anything?
Just give me 1 second. Just give me 1 second.
For what? You're
Somewhere
wasting
along the-
everybody's time up here.
No, I'm giving you something important.
No, you're not giving
Oh
me
my
shit, bro.
God.
You
Can
have
you just-
nothing to
can you just
give.
listen? Can you just
Everything,
close-
look,
listen,
everything,
listen.
the only thing you've conceded here tonight is that everything special or anything that would denote you of being a woman comes from a fucking injection.
No.
That's
listen.
it.
Listen.
And I would like to add, he says, oh, he sees us all the time. That's interesting since this is the first time I've ever run this prompt.
I meant from people like I talk to people like you a lot.
Like me, what does that mean?
People who hold the same views as you.
In a presupposition.
Yeah, exactly.
Wait,
people who live in
you
reality.
no, people who don't believe that trans women are women.
They're not.
That's what I'm saying. That's not a presupposition. But listen, this is what I got to say. Somewhere along the line, somewhere along the line, you guys thought it was a good strategy. You saw the strategy when you said, if I accuse the other side of exactly what I'm doing
But
before
there's no
they get the chance
strategy,
to,
bro. What the fuck are you even
before
talking
they get
about?
the chance to,
There's no
then-
strategy.
Then I can have the appearance
an
of winning
argument.
the argument. That's all.
You
it is.
didn't win shit here, bro.
You're
Nothing.
not. You didn't even hear what I said.
You won
because
the
you can't
delusional
listen.
one.
Bro, yeah. I stopped listening when you called it some form
Right,
of a
so what is
strategy.
the
There
point?
is no
What is the
strategy
point?
here.
Why- then
There
stop
is
talking
just
to
the argument.
Then
There
stop
is
talking.
empirics. There is the argument. There is a
If
premise.
we're talking
There's
about,
an
if we're talking,
argument.
don't talk
There is a
don't talk
conclusion.
about
None
empirics.
of which you have
If
provided.
you're not going to
here
respect
today.
the science, if you're not going to respect
The science? What's the
then
science?
talk about it.
What's the science?
The science is the definition that I gave you of a woman. That's the science.
Wait, is that science or is that linguistics? Which one
That's
is that?
science.
That's not science.
Linguistics is a science. What?
Yeah, what's the hypothesis behind the
Oh my
linguistics?
God.
Go ahead.
You want the theory of science? That's what you want right now?
The theory of
Because you asked for a
science.
hypothesis that has to do with the,
The theory
That has
of
to do with the
science.
scientific.
What is a scientific law? Tell me that.
Listen, I'm
What's
done
the
with you.
scientific law? Tell me.
Listen, I'm done with you. You the most
No,
corny.
no.
boy.
Tell me. What's the scientific law? Tell me.
You the most corny boy. I'm not. No, we're not doing this.
Oh, we're resorting to ad homs because we
Guys,
can't win the
real
argument.
quick- real
We love it
quick.
here. Go ahead, host.
Yeah, I have to step away for a minute. I'm leaving Firelord in charge.
Okay. It's all good, Christina.
Y'all don't never read the literature. That's crazy.
Oh, okay. Wait a minute.
What
Hold on.
That's
literature, bro?
gaslighting. You
Kevin,
just
Kevin,
gaslighting
Kevin,
now.
please allow me. Kevin, please allow me. You're saying
What
the
literature?
Science. You're saying the science of what you said that defines a woman. Anybody whose social schema aligns with the
We
female.
want schema on gender.
Oh, can you please? I have not interrupted you at all. Do not interrupt me, because
I did. Like I did. I'm
you again, you're interrupting me.
Right, I know.
Again, you're interrupting me. Like you, I am a male, and I do have male aggression. We all have it. All males do. Do not let my male aggression come out on you, because I will
Or
literally,
what?
I will
Hey,
literally
realist.
make it.
Hey, realist. I just looked up
Just saying that
schema
first off. Hold on.
definition. You should get him to define
Yeah,
it.
Jeff. Just concede, please.
Since you
I'll
want to go,
concede.
you want to go off of here is a definitive definition for a couple of things.
I want to see this
A
aggression.
chair is a sitting device that has 4 legs and a back support. A hen is an adult female chicken. A doe is an adult female deer. A stallion is an adult male horse. A woman is an adult human female. It does not have anything about a social schema or anything.
I want to see this
We
aggression.
are again, do not interrupt me.
I want to see it though.
Again, do not interrupt me.
What?
We are mammals. We are humans. We are signified by certain gender terms, gender words, whatever you want to call it. Man, woman, boy, girl. You cannot interchange these. Mammals cannot interchange their smacks. If you were born a male, there's nothing you have to do. You instantly become a male when you go through your pubescent stage. That's what being a man is. It signifies the human species of the males at a specific time in their life. You cannot say that a woman is just someone who aligns with the female smacks, because gender identity, I will concede, is a social construct. Women are not just mothers. They're not just caretakers. They are more than that. Now, even though women are more than that, they are the only smecks that can produce an offspring. Males cannot. Women, their hips get wider. Their skeletal structure changes when they are pregnant. Males, their skeletal structure does not change because we cannot harvest, or I'm sorry, that was a wrong term. Do not lie to me. We cannot incubate, because that's pretty much what it is, a child in our body. Our body cannot physically or capably do it. So what you are saying and what Kevin has broken down to you for the past like half an hour is everything that you say or you feel, you could feel how you want, but that is not based in reality. The reality is you were born a male, you are over the age, you are a man that is cosplaying what you think a woman is. You will never know what it is like to be a woman because you are not a woman. You are a man that is wearing clothes and says you are a woman. You're not, though.
I'm gonna be real with you, dog. I ain't hear nothing you said, for real. I'm gonna be real with you.
Motherfucker too high to have a conversation. That's all it is to it.
So, do you have anything to rebuttal what he said?
I
No,
ain't
you
hear.
don't have
He
anything
said
to
Can you repeat
rebuttal
that?
he said he didn't listen to him, Fire Lord.
No,
He said he
can
didn't
you,
even
my
listen
bad.
No,
to
you
him.
don't have anything.
Just repeat the last part.
I wouldn't, bro. I wouldn't. Look, man, have some realist. Have some respect for yourself and tell him to get fucked.
No, see, that's the thing. I'm not going to repeat myself because
I want you. But I want to see the
this
aggression.
man heard everything that I said.
You talked
The
for that long
difference
time. You still
is
talking.
this man does not want to live in reality.
I'm trying to see the
In the
aggression.
world to live in his fantasy, and we are not living in his fantasy.
I got the address. I got the address.
You got the
What a dress, bro. What are you doing?
Yo, first off,
He said he don't want me to see the aggression.
I am not scared of anyone that says you have to address.
Yeah, let's not do that. Let's not do that.
First off, let's not.
He said it. I'm just saying.
Yeah, but you wait. You're using terms of provocation, little. So let's
How?
not do that.
What you mean in terms of?
Yeah, so
provocation?
yeah, when you say, well, I'm going to explain this because I'm confident you have no fucking clue what provocation means.
Go ahead.
You're using when you say what you just said, when you say I want to see the aggression,
Right.
that is a phrase of provocation. You're provoking this man.
Right. So why did he use it first?
He didn't.
He never said that he was going to get aggressive. He never said that.
Well, no, yes, he did.
Oh,
yes. He absolutely did.
Word.
He was saying that he was a man and he was trying to curtail his aggression.
That's sad. I'm sorry.
And little Kevin, if you would, what I said was, I have been respectful on this panel. I have not interjected, and if I have, when the host or one of the moderators have caught me, I have politely apologized because they were mistakes. What you were doing was trying to overtalk me and interject, and I was simply stating that, like you, I am an adult human male. And like you, like all males on the planet, we do have male aggression. I was saying, do not let my male aggression come out by me raising my voice or screaming at you or getting loud. That's what I meant by my male aggression.
Right.
As far as all of the threats that you want to make, that's irrelevant and should never be.
What
brought.
threat did I make?
You literally said you have my addy and all of that. That's
I didn't say that. I said I got the addy.
No, you said the address. You said you got the address. What does that mean?
What do you think it mean?
Bro, explain it. What does it mean? What's it mean?
What do you think it mean?
Well, I'm asking you. What's it mean? Because you clearly saying some shit that nobody knows what the fuck you talking about. What's that mean?
Listen, if you don't know what I'm talking about, don't worry about
Kevin,
it.
I know what he's saying. I know what he's saying.
Kevin, real quick, how do you get that?
How do I get what?
Your voice.
This is my voice, bro. I'm a dwarf. I'm 3'3" tall. I don't know why I keep having to go over this.
That's
Heck
based.
yeah.
All right. So, wait, Clint, how old are you?
24.
You had to think about that.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, this person's threatening with addresses, so I don't want to.
You know what? Clint's got a point.
Right. If y'all not here to change your minds, then
Yeah, I can
it's
see
just
that
so
point.
y'all can dogpile on people.
I'm not dogpiling you, bro. What did you mean?
Well,
and be
is it-
clear here.
well, I
be
didn't-
very
okay.
clear. When you said I've got the address, what did you mean?
I'm saying if y'all not here to change your mind.
No. What did you mean?
I'm saying if
Even
y'all
that
not
he's
here
going
to
to
change your
invoke
mind.
violence on us.
What did you mean, bro?
Hold on,
you said I have the
I'm
address.
saying if
What does
y'all
that
not
mean?
here to change minds, then what is y'all here
Bro,
for?
don't pivot. You've been doing that shit all night, man.
Listen,
you got fucking
right.
wheel bearings for
I'm
ankles.
just
It's
asking
crazy.
questions. I'm sorry. I'm just asking questions.
Yeah, and I'm asking you one too. What did you mean when you said I have the address? What does that mean? What was your intent behind that statement? Yeah, go on mute. Fucking coward. Get the hell out of here, bro. You don't go
I didn't
there.
do
Fuck
that.
out of here.